Good evening, and welcome to Twilight Dance. Tonight's story explores an ancient mystery, one that has been passed down through time. So settle in, relax, and let the story carry you into a quiet and restful night.
As the ocean settles into the quiet rhythm of the night, the surface of the water reflects the sky above in soft, shifting patterns. The waves move gently, rising and falling in a steady motion that feels almost effortless. There is a calmness here, far from the noise of land, where everything seems to slow down. The horizon stretches endlessly, and the only sound is the soft movement of water against itself. For as long as people have traveled across the sea, there have been stories of something just beneath the surface, not something loud or threatening, but something quiet, something that exists within the water as naturally as the ocean itself. The mermaid. Unlike many creatures of legend, the mermaid is often described not as something to fear, but as something to observe from a distance. A presence that appears briefly, then fades back into the water without disturbance. In many accounts, the first sign is not a clear sighting, but a feeling. A sense that something is there, just beyond what can be fully seen. The water shifts slightly, the reflection changes, and for a moment, there is the outline of a figure, smooth and still, before it disappears again. Imagine standing at the edge of a quiet shore at night, the air cool and calm. The water stretches out before you, dark but not empty. The light of the moon reflects across the surface, creating a path of soft brightness that moves gently with each wave. Now imagine something moving within that light. Not quickly, not suddenly, but slowly, in the same rhythm as the ocean itself. The idea of the mermaid does not disrupt the calm. It becomes part of it. In many stories, mermaids are described as having a presence that blends with the water. Their movements are smooth, almost effortless, as if they are carried by the ocean rather than moving through it. Their appearance is often described as soft and luminous, not harsh or defined, but slightly blurred by the movement of the water and the reflection of light. This makes them difficult to see clearly, not because they are hidden, but because they do not stand apart from their environment. They belong to it. As time passes, the idea of the mermaid becomes less about a specific figure, and more about the feeling of something existing just beneath the surface. A quiet presence that does not need to be fully revealed to be understood. Sailors long ago would sometimes describe moments when the ocean felt unusually still, where even the wind seemed to pause. In those moments, they would look out across the water, not expecting to see anything clearly, but aware that something might be there. A slight movement, a change in the reflection, or a shape that appears for just a moment before fading. These moments were not described with fear, but with quiet curiosity. As if the ocean was offering a glimpse of something that was never meant to be fully seen. And as the night continues, the calm remains, steady and uninterrupted, carried gently by the movement of the water. As the stillness continues, the sense of depth beneath the surface becomes more noticeable. The ocean is not just what can be seen above, but a vast space below, moving slowly and quietly. Within that space, the presence of something living becomes easier to imagine. Not something separate from the water, but something that exists as part of it. The mermaid, in this way, becomes less of a defined figure, and more of a continuation of the ocean itself. If you remain here, watching for just a little longer, the details begin to soften. The edges of the waves blur, the reflections stretch, and the movement becomes more uniform. The mind begins to relax into the rhythm, letting go of the need to focus on any one detail. The presence beneath the surface fades into the background, no longer something to look for, but something that simply exists. The ocean continues its steady motion, unchanged and calm. And as the final moments settle in, the quiet remains, stretching gently into the distance as the night carries on. As the quiet rhythm of the ocean continues, the sense of stillness begins to deepen. The surface of the water reflects the sky above in soft, shifting patterns, while below, the depth remains calm and undisturbed. There is no clear boundary between what is seen and what is hidden. The movement of the water blends everything together, creating a space where details soften and shapes become less defined. Within that space, the idea of something living becomes easier to accept, not as something unusual, but as something that belongs. The presence of the mermaid does not interrupt the calm. It follows it. Its movements are slow, almost effortless, carried by the same rhythm that moves the ocean itself. There is no urgency, no sudden motion, only a steady drifting that feels natural and unforced. If you imagine watching the water for just a little longer, your focus begins to relax. The surface becomes less something to study, and more something to experience. The gentle rise and fall of the waves becomes familiar, predictable, and calming. Beneath that surface, the sense of depth remains, vast and quiet. The presence there no longer feels distant or separate. It feels connected, part of the same environment, moving in the same quiet rhythm. The mind no longer searches for a clear image. It no longer needs to. It is enough that something could be there. And as that thought settles, the ocean continues unchanged, steady and calm, carrying everything with it as the night moves forward. The light from the moon reflects softly across the water, stretching into the distance, fading gradually as it reaches the horizon. The sky above remains clear and open, filled with faint stars that shimmer gently without drawing attention. Everything moves together, slowly and without interruption. And as the final moments pass, the stillness remains, stretching outward into the quiet distance, as the ocean continues its steady, calming rhythm beneath the night sky. As the calm continues, the ocean seems to stretch even further, the horizon blending softly into the sky above. The movement of the water becomes more subtle, more uniform, as if everything has settled into a steady and unchanging rhythm. There is no need to focus on any one point. No need to search for movement or shape. The surface reflects light in soft patterns, shifting gently without drawing attention. Beneath that surface, the depth remains, vast and quiet. The presence there no longer feels distant or unknown. It feels like part of the same calm, existing without needing to be seen. The idea of the mermaid fades into the background, not disappearing, but becoming less defined, more like a quiet awareness than a clear image. Everything continues as it is. The water moves slowly. The light reflects softly. The night remains still. And as time passes, the calm only deepens, carrying everything gently forward, without change, without interruption, as the ocean continues its endless, steady motion beneath the quiet sky.
Thank you for listening tonight. If you enjoyed this story, there are many more waiting for you here on Twilight Dance. Sleep well, and I'll see you in the next one.